Welcome back to YellowCard Vanguard. I'm your host, Toku from It's Toku TV on Twitch. Throughout the week, I'm streaming Vanguard on my Twitch channel. We'll be building decks, playtesting, and just having a grand old time, so be sure to swing on by. With new clan collection reveals coming out every day, you know what that means. It's time for a new chapter of clan collection cores. I want to preface this video and the entirety of the series by saying that many of these lists are entirely conceptual and surface deep, and will need your own playtesting to fine-tune. But each of these will aim to provide a way of thinking on how to take your new support in Clan Collection 3 and 4 and put it into a working deck. They won't all be optimized, but I believe they will be a good baseline to build off of. Welcome to Clan Collection Cores. I've said this the last time we had a Clan Collection core for Kagero with Seal Dragons, and I'll reiterate it again. When you're playing Kagero in V Premium and you're not playing Overlord, you're actively kneecapping yourself. That being said, you are also actively being based. Though I don't think any of these new Kagero bosses are better than the Overlord, both D3R and Lawkeeper bring complete new builds to Kagero V Premium. D3R being more of a vertical deck, and Lawkeeper is more of a horizontal deck. In this episode of Clan Collection Core, we're taking a deep, dark dive into Dauntless Drive Dragon and his new edgier form, Dauntless Dominate Dragon Reverse. Let's take a look at two of the new Kagero Grade 3s. The first one being Dauntless Dominate Dragon Reverse. He has two Vanguard-centric effects. The first one being that when you drive check a normal unit, you can counterblast one to place it on rear circle as a locked card. If you did, D3R gains 10k and a drive for the battle. Its second effect activates at the end of battle. You can Soul Blast one to unlock all of your locked cards and retire them. For each that you retire, your opponent performs the following. Choose 3 of your rear guards and retire them. If 2 or more were not retired, choose a marker from your circles and remove it. At first glance, I was disappointed in D3R in its apparent nombo with Dauntless Drive Dragon, but after thinking about it some more, I appreciate what it can do. By itself, depending on how much counterblast you have, it becomes a drive check until you hit double trigger. And when you do combine that with Dauntless Drive Dragon, you do reach that scary threshold of a multi-crit restander. And even if you don't find normal units on your first go around, you have the chance to go again on your restand thanks to Dauntless. I can also appreciate that the second effect is optional, and could in fact be seen as an option against certain matchups to burn markers and in other matchups as a way to convert your lock cards onto a +2 board. Another new but familiar face here, Blazing Flare Dragon. Blazing Flare comes with 2 skills that both activate on either circle. Once per turn, you can Soul Blast any number of cards, but at least 1, and for each card you Soul Blasted, you can retire an opponent's rear guard. Then, if Blazing Flare was your Vanguard and you Soul Blasted 5, your opponent loses all of their markers on board and in hand. His second skill activates on attack to mandatory Soul Charge 1. Then, if our opponent is grade 3 or greater and has no rear guards, Blazing Flare gains 10k for the battle. I honestly think Blazing Flare Dragon is the nuts. It having 2 effects that activate on ban or rear, and also gaining a Force Maker makes it super versatile but also super splashable into any build. You could play this in any Kagero variant at some number and have access to a field nuke. And into certain matchups that farm markers aplenty, I'm looking at you, YellowCard, you can rewrite into Blazing Flare and send them back to square 1. Let's take a look at the list. Our win con is a bit of a unique one. I did call D3R a very vertical playstyle, meaning very Vanguard focused, so the primary win con will be rewriting D3R over Dauntless Drive Dragon for our restanding Vanguard, which performs drive checks until it hopefully finds 2 crits. But there's also a unique option of rearguard multi-attack through the likes of Dragon Knight Zarina and Dragon Knight Nasser. Since D3R introduces the first instance of Battle Phase Retire, you'll have to fact check me on that one. For Kagero, this turns Dragon Knight Zarina and Dragon Knight Nasser into a cool, unique way to superior call more attackers and make use of Dauntless Drive Dragon's effect to power up rearguards. As such, we are playing 4 copies of Dauntless Drive Dragon and 4 copies of Dauntless Dominated Dragon Reverse as our primary win con, and 4 copies of Dragon Knight Zarina and 4 copies of Dragon Knight Nasser as our secondary win con. To find our primary win con, we're playing some good generic cards to ride, namely 4 copies of Dragon Knight He-Shot to help find one of our grade 3s when rode upon, and a Break Breath Dragon to provide a +1 upon ride if our opponent doesn't overextend. In the last few slots, we're going to run some resource techs. We recognize that D3R burns through a lot of counterblast on average, so we're going to run 4 copies of Flame of Hope Airmo. Just an all-around generically good card to help us with countercharging and peace digging. We also run 4 copies of Blazing Flare Dragon for its effect to soul charge on attack, to remedy the fact that Dragon Knight Zarina and Nasser are very heavy on the soul, and also because the Blazing Flare is the best target to call off of Nasser. Not only that, as stated before, in certain matchups that are very marker generation heavy, rerouting into Blazing Flare Dragon is very strong. That leaves us with 1 slot, and we do a little bit of memeing here. We're going to run Burnrise Dragon. Since we'll easily get our Vanguard to restand off of Dauntless Drive's effect, there's probably an abundance of other cards you could run here, but Burnrise is funny. Our trigger lineup is fairly standard here, 8 crit, 4 draw sentinels, and 4 heal guardians. Nothing much to say here except for the fact that the grade 3 heal guardian being a grade 3 means our Dragon Knight is more likely to hit an extra attacker when we resolve it. Examples of other cards we could run could be Purple Gem Carbuncle as an alternate call target off of Dragon Knight Zarina onto the same circle as himself to swing at 20k and 30k on a force marker. Calamity Tower Wyvern to be more focused on D3R and DDD as your primary win con, allowing you to focus more on Force 2 since Calamity gets you the power that you need already. And to further exemplify a desire to focus on D3R and DDD, we can obviously run Dragon Knight Janat as our crit sentinel, going into a 12 crit lineup as we look to play the Do You Have a PG game plan. In closing, if you're looking for a deck that plays similarly to Overlord but with an even edgier look and a unique subplan, D3R is a good consideration. I'll reiterate that this won't be as good as Overlord and will essentially be a boneless variant, but presents alternate lines that are not present in Overlord decks. In any case, this has been it from me on this episode of Clan Collection Course. Be sure to subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Like the video as it helps motivate us to keep the gears going, and leave a comment down below. Every little bit helps the channel. This has been Toku from YellowCard Vanguard. Toku out.